I was in a long distance relationship for 8 months. Here are some things that helped me and my boyfriend at the time get through it. But first, I wanted to get something out of the way first. A lot of you guys have been asking about my marriage and my unfortunate divorce. It's not that I don't want to talk about it, because I can talk about it. Like, there's no legal binding or anything that I cannot talk about it. I just want to protect my ex from all of this crazy internet stuff. So I wanted to keep that stuff private. I don't mind talking around my relationship. I don't mind talking about things to do to prepare for like a relationship or prepare for marriage, or things to do after divorce and how to get over an ex and things like that. I don't mind talking about that stuff. But as far as the details of my divorce and my marriage, I don't want to put that on the internet, and I don't want to expose my ex like that. So I will not be talking about it. There's one thing I can tell you guys though. My ex and I are, get ready for it, fine. We're actually fine. We're actually friends. We are one of those people that we can like call each other up and like talk on the phone. He can, if he has any questions for me, he can ask. He texts me sometimes. Like, we're good. We're good. There's no like bad blood between us, nothing like that. But again, I cannot go into the details of our marriage, our relationship, and anything like that, simply because I want to protect him and he deserves that respect. So that's it about that. Let's get on with this long distance relationship. So what is a long distance relationship really? Long distance relationship is obviously when you are, in my opinion, about 30 minutes or more away from each other, when you have to make more of an effort to see each other, when you can't just text somebody to come over for dinner, when all the physical aspects of your relationship is out of the way and you have to literally communicate every day to make it work. When I was in college, I met my then boyfriend in a bar, and San Francisco is a very touristy town, so tons of people do come and go from there. Him and I really connected like right away, and we started just talking, and he was in town for like about a week, and then he had to go back to school to Washington. So that's where our long distance actually started. After a week of being together, we really got really into each other. We had a really good connection. We realized we had tons in common, and we both had the same kind of goals. And after about a week of getting to each other, we really were like head over heels in love with each other. But he had to unfortunately go back to Washington for school. So we were like, you know what, we want to be together and we have to try to make it work. Up until then, I've never really been in a long distance relationship like that. But I just wanted to make it work because I really wanted to be with this guy. And then here are ways that we were able to keep up with a relationship for 8 months while he was still in school and trying to make his way back to California to be with me. The first and most important thing you need to figure out are your goals about the relationship, and if you're on the same page about your relationship. My boyfriend and I at the time, we had to like get together and really talk about what we saw in the relationship and if it was even worth it going 8 months without seeing each other. As soon as we figured out that we really did want to be together and we really did love each other enough to sustain 8 months of not seeing each other, we were able to kind of work that out. It took a lot of like talking, right? It took a lot of talking. It took a lot of questions. It took a lot of like, well, what are you gonna do when you finish school? You're gonna move down here, right? Where are you gonna live? Another way to figure out the goals is how long are you gonna be in the long distance relationship? You know what I mean? How long is that relationship gonna last? You can't be in a long distance relationship without thinking that you're going to end up together again. You can't do that. So when my boyfriend at the time was back in Washington going to school, we knew that he was going to finish school in about 8 months, and that's when I'll be able to see him again. We knew that was the goal, that we were going to see each other, and that was it. So that was the length of time that we're going to go without seeing each other. So that's what you have to figure out, because a long distance relationship can't be a long distance relationship forever. I don't think there's like a time limit on how long a long distance relationship should be, but you do need to figure out when you're going to see each other again, when the long distancing will be over. Figuring out your goals together really helps you kind of set the tone of the relationship. If you or him feel single, right? If you feel like you don't have anybody to like actually talk to, if you don't feel like you have a man, if you don't feel like you have a girlfriend, then you don't have the same goals for the relationship, and you two really don't really want to be together. Because if you really want to be together, you would make sure that you keep that relationship intact, and that involves a lot of talking. In other words, communication, which is our next thing. Communication is key in keeping a long distance relationship afloat. If you don't communicate, it's not going to go anywhere. It's very important that you guys talk every single day. When I say every single day, I mean every single day. When my boyfriend at the time was in Washington, we talked every single day. I'm not being dramatic. Every single day. I'm gonna say it again. I've said it like 3 times already, but every single day. When I say talking every single day, it's not like every 8 hours, hey, what's up? It's not every 8 hours, what you doing? It's not every day, oh, what are you doing today? It's not like that. It's more like keeping you engaged in their everyday life. What I mean by that is basically bringing you along for the ride every day. What my boyfriend at the time would do is he would send me pictures of cats, because I really like cats. He would FaceTime me whenever he was going to like dinner with his friends. He would keep me updated on anything that was going on in his life every day. He would say, hey, I'm going to da-da-da-da today. I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm going to the gym. I'll talk to you in a bit. And then on top of all those little bits of communication throughout the day, we actually would set up a time to talk on the phone just to like really catch up and really dive deep and really answer all the questions and really get back to our number one situation, which is setting up goals for our relationship. So that's really important. Those are the 2 most important things. So it's goals and communication. If you have a solid understanding of your relationship, and if you have a solid understanding of communication in your relationship, there's no reason why you cannot have a long distance relationship. After communicating is trust. You have to trust each other. If you don't trust the boyfriend or your partner while they're away or while you're away, it's not going to work out. You have to be able to trust each other. Trust is important in any relationship, no matter romantic, non-romantic, non-distance, long distance, whatever. You have to be able to trust each other. And I will admit that when my then at the time boyfriend and I first started a long distance relationship, it was really difficult. I was spinning a lot for about a week because I felt like he really was just saying a lot of things to me. He wasn't being real. He wasn't being honest with me, but he proved to me over and over and over again. He reassured me over and over and over again that he was in it and he wanted to be with me and he wasn't going to let anything come between us, no matter the distance. He was in it 100% and wanted to be with me after he was finished with school. And that was why I trusted him. And that, again, he reassured me by talking to me every day, by making sure he kept me engaged, by making sure he was communicating with me constantly. So that is how you build trust. I know that sometimes it's hard when you get off the phone with your man or the person you're dating to be like, oh my God, what are they gonna do? Oh, what if they go to that club and they meet that guy? What if they go to that club and meet a girl and they really like them and they're really connecting with them? Why are they not responding to me after an hour? Are they with somebody? But that's, that doesn't work. If your partner hasn't done anything to disrespect your trust, there's no need to not trust them. So my boyfriend at the time did not do anything for me to think that I couldn't trust him. He was honest, open, and just willing to just tell me anything I needed to hear every time I asked. He wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't doing anything like that. The next important one is something that I can't really relate to because I didn't have to do it in my long distance relationship because I literally couldn't afford to do it, but it's planned visits whenever possible. I am a huge Meghan Markle and Prince Harry fan. I look up to them for like a pure romantic relationship, and I really, really love that about them. So I was watching their documentary, and they were actually in a long distance relationship for 6 months. But the thing about Meghan and Harry is that they have money. So the thing is, they set a rule that, again, with the goals, right? We're back to the goals again. They set a rule and a goal in their relationship at the time that they could not go 2 weeks without seeing each other. So they planned every 2 weeks they would have to see each other. Meghan lived in Canada at the time and Harry lived back in London at the time. So they literally flew every 2 weeks to see each other. I couldn't do that in my relationship at the time. I could not afford, I was in college, I was a broke college student. I could not afford to see my then boyfriend at that time. So we didn't do the whole flying back and forth thing for 8 months. But again, we went back to the goals of we will see each other in 8 months. Once school was over, we will see each other and everything will go out. Do I wish that sometimes we kind of did visit each other? Yes. Did I get like frustrated at times where I couldn't see him and do all this stuff with him that normal couples would do? Yes, of course. But we got through it because A, goals, and B, communication. The last thing I wanted to say is be creative and spontaneous in your relationship. It's very important to set up like virtual date nights. It's very important to do FaceTiming whenever possible. It's very important to set up like a time for you guys to talk and really open up, like I mentioned earlier. That's super, super important. And also, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but it's also very important to literally spice things up. You have to spice things up. If you guys know what I mean, I hope you know what I mean. Like you literally have to find ways to keep things spicy because you cannot see each other physically. You have to get on that phone and turn on your spicy SEXY voice and really get into it. I don't want to be too explicit, but that's what you have to do. That's what makes the relationship fun. Send each other pictures, if you know what I mean. Please send each other nice, beautiful pictures of each other. I don't know how much more I can say, but that's what I'm trying to say is those are ways you can keep yourself creative and engaged in your relationship while you wait to see each other. Long distance relationships are possible. It's really hard. It's not easy. It gets frustrating. It's annoying. A little bit of jealousy gets in the way. But if you keep the goals, the communication, the trust, the visiting each other, and being creative, you can make it work. Trust me. A little bit of backstory after my boyfriend at the time moved to town. Him and I were together, and then unfortunately it did not work out in the end, but we still survived and it was still a really good relationship. So if you guys have any other questions about long distance relationships, leave them in the comments. If you've been in a long distance relationship, let me know how long, let me know how it went for you and how much you do you regret not doing it if you had the opportunity. For me, if I had to do a long distance relationship again, I probably wouldn't do it because it's just really hard. But as long as I kept those things in mind, we could probably work it out. But it's just really hard. Long distance relationship is like the last option, I think, when it comes to being together. If you really love each other, you can make it work, but it's like the last option, in my opinion.